So welcome back to the Barbell Biz and Bikini podcast. So you join me for another awesome guest podcast today, and we're looking more at the biz side of things today in terms of business. And I've managed to nab on an awesome guest of someone whose company I am a huge fan of. And if you follow me on Instagram, you should know that I'm a huge fan because I think I post about them every single day. And if you know me, you know I don't lie. If I'm hyping something up, it's worth the hype. So I'm joined today by Matt, who is the face behind Build and Bake Brownies, because someone has to make them. It's not just the magical elves. So Matt, let's give you a bit of an introduction to yourself, because obviously people know Build and I hope they know Build and Bake, but a little bit about yourself as well. Get to know you.
Yeah, so I've had this company now for 2 years. It was 2 years in August. It's gone so quick.
Wow.
So I've sort of got no background in sort of baking or cooking or anything like that. The only thing that I have is that just from a young age, I always had a hobby for baking.
Mm-hmm.
And it would be around 2016 was when I decided that I had to basically lose some weight. I was very overweight. I'd never really heard of the gym, so I thought, well, I'm gonna start dieting and start going to the gym. And after about a year, what I struggled with was just sweet cravings. I could handle crisps and things like that, but really struggled with not being able to eat like cakes, cookies, brownies, things like that. So I just started like coming up with recipes, started like practicing baking and things like that. Like I always used to bake like cheesecakes, cakes, and everything for people at work, or just if I had a free weekend. So I thought, well, I'll just start practicing healthier bakes. So I'll take out sugar, I'll remove the egg yolks and things, and just started practicing and playing around with a load of ideas. I bought a few sort of recipe books and things, and just started like just playing with ideas, looking at YouTube videos, and I'm sort of managed to nail down a few sort of recipes for sort of like cheesecakes, brownies, muffins that like really actually tasted quite good. And then in 2017, end of 2017, after I competed, I was actually asked to go down to Grenade Fit and basically bring a load of treats and goodies down for the guys at Grenade. And one of them was the sweet potato brownie. So back then it was just in massive trays and just cut up like into little square. And they had it there, and they said basically, from there alone, I think I got like 15, 20 orders, and they said, look, at the time I wasn't even selling them. I was just a hobby. And they said, look, you need to sell them, and it just sort of ticked with me. And I thought, well, if I could do something like this, and I could, offer a good service, a good product, I could have a business, and I could work for myself, and had all these big grand images, and it just sort of went on from there. I just took it from there, and created a logo, created a business name, and just started the slow sort of process of trying to get it out there for people to try, something which is quite unique really, because sweet potato brownie is quite hard to sell to somebody who likes brownies, because it's made of potato. It's not exactly the most glamorous ingredient.
No, for sure. Now let's sort of talk about, I mean, you touched on it there, like the history and starting out. So when you first started out, were you working something else on the side, or did you go all in and just decide to just focus on this and get it off the ground?
So for the first part of it, I was actually in the police force, and then for the second year, after I left the police, I worked for a computer firm as an account manager, which gives you the sort of experience, both of those jobs, to deal with sort of customers, deal with people, and I feel like that's one of the things which sort of lets us stand out, is actually being able to communicate to us, customer service wise, and just having a voice to speak to. There are big companies out there, to name a few, like Halo Top, and Innocent Smoothie, and people like that do it really well, where they actually they engage with their customers. They make them feel like they're part of the team, because at the end of the day, you are. Like I try and speak to all of my customers, and if it's not me, it's Mano, who's my social media guy, and I always sort of, the way I sort of get Mano to do it is I want him to sort of know what all the customers are about. I want them to remember things. So when they're saying they're going on holiday and things, it's just a nice, enjoy your holiday. Or should we hold your subscription back and send it for when you're back? And it's trying to actually show people that we do care. It's not just about taking money and giving you brownies. It's about the whole sort of experience of the brand. But yeah, so after it would have been about 6 months while in the other job I had, I decided it was probably about time that I can make the jump. And I just thought, if I make the jump and just put all my energy into it, I think it could work. And just went on from there. And that was last year. So I've been a year of my own boss, which has been very interesting. But and then it's just gone from strength to strength from there on out, really.
No, absolutely. No, I'd say probably over the last 6 months or so, you guys have just, you've always done really well, but in terms of just the growth you've got on social media and awareness, it's gone quite sort of crazy. I wasn't aware of you until last sort of September, because I think you went to, was it PCA finals you were at? Am I right?
Yeah,
I didn't go, but my friends went and they talked, someone mentioned it to me, said, oh, have these, and I'd seen you here and there, but I'd not like followed you, and I thought, oh, they sound good. Sort of toyed at the idea, but again, it's that thing of sweet potato. I was like, nah, I don't really fancy it. And then started coaching with Vicky, and she mentioned it. She's like, just do it. I was like, okay, I'll do it. I'll buy some. I remember the day I was sat in Starbucks. I thought, fine, I'll just order some. And I was hooked. And it's been a bit of an addiction since. So what have been sort of the pivotal points in terms of business? Because like I said, the last 6 months I've seen you guys just grow, and it's really nice to watch, to be honest, because you deserve it. But what have been sort of pinpoints of, how you've managed to sort of grow into this, ever growing little business you've got?
So the biggest thing for me is that is to focus on your customers. So I was really adamant to not do the sort of influencer route and things like that. Like, as you can imagine, we get a lot of messages every day of people asking to collaborate and things like that. And it's nice, but it's also frustrating at times, because a lot of these people don't really follow you, and it's you don't get anything back. So what I wanted to do is to focus on the customers that were there, and speak with them, engage with them, like get them to help me sort of develop the products as you go along. So the flavors they want. So things like introducing the premium box, where I basically got people to choose the flavors for the month. So you do sort of polls, you get people to vote. So everyone has a bit of an input, like a group input, and then the premium box is created. And it gives, hopefully, ideally, there's at least a handful of flavors in there which people enjoy.
Yeah.
And it then gives you that some type of satisfaction that you've helped create that box. And just basically speaking to customers with like respect, like just chatting with them, giving them a good level of service, and not like, I wouldn't even say to people, "Oh, can you just write a post about us or anything?" I wouldn't say anything, like, because the product should talk for itself and the customer service should talk for itself. And if somebody's happy with something, they'll speak about it. So I just focused on that natural growth of just be decent with everyone, give a good level of service, 100%, like what you can give to every single customer. So even if they're a repeat customer over and over again, still 100%, they get the best level of service, they get the best product. If there's any issues, we'll sort it, because that's what gets repeat customers. That's what spreads the word of mouth. Like, it takes one bad thing to spread to like 10, 15 people, but it takes a continuous amount of good things to spread to just 1 or 2 people. But I think being in the industry, and going to the shows and things like that, and knowing quite a lot of competitors from when I competed and things, that has helped a lot, because obviously you have people like, we work closely with Jack Thorburn and Christian. Those 2 guys are absolutely fantastic, and they obviously have a lot of influence, and they basically, first and foremost, they're my friends. So it's not that they're not chosen for influencers. They're really good friends of mine, and they're really good lads. And I like them because they're funny, and I feel like you need to have that personality and things like that. You need, like, there's a personality behind the brand, and there's a personality behind the people we work with as well. So I feel like that needs to be a sort of trend going forward, because that seems to work quite well.
Yeah, absolutely. Could not agree more. I'm glad you've not gone down the influencer route. I can't imagine like a post with like a, one of those influencers, half naked, booty out with a little brownie on the side.
Couldn't imagine anything worse, to be honest.
Never say never, but so I mean, I did ask people some questions as well, and a couple of questions came up that are pretty much the same, and it was one I had for yourself as well. So I'm not going to say who's asked some of the questions because one of the questions would then give away.
Okay.
If that makes sense. But a lot of people have asked, and I've asked myself as well, what are the sort of the future plans and long-term goals for the business? Because it's growing, it's ever growing. So what are you wanting to see long-term, and what are you wanting to build it into?
So long-term wise, I've obviously got a few announcements to make soon, very soon, around some new products that we're bringing out, which are hopefully going to be massive game changers in the industry, which is going to be very exciting. But moving forward would be to get a bakery and like a couple of sort of protein cafes where you can walk in, you can select your brownies. There's a nice little brownie counter. You can choose, any selection you want. You've got nice coffee, you've got chill out area, and it's just an atmosphere where you can relax. You can have your sort of healthier treats and healthier options. Things, there's selections of different types of coffees and what have you, and it's just that giving you that option. Like there's plenty of cafes and coffee shops out there, and there's not a lot, if any, with that mantra of being sort of just health conscious. Not saying everything has to be low calorie or anything, but just everything is taken into consideration. There's macros for the food there. There'll be decent sort of drinks, and just a nice area where you can go and, dare I say it, be sort of Instagrammable. Like I want it to be that sort of whole image of the whole, like I said to you, the whole package isn't just about the product, it's about everything. Customer service, like the product, the whole thing. So I want you to be able to go there and be like, wow, this is amazing. Just the shop's amazing, and the food's amazing, the customer service is amazing. Like I want them to keep coming back. Like that, I want it to be the area where you go to, or the place where you go to have your coffee, or to have your chill out, and to also have a treat, or even if it's just post workout and you're near and you nip in and you grab whatever. That is the sort of the overall big dream. But the first thing for me is to basically keep up with the demand, because as you can imagine, it's been ridiculous. The increase is, we're talking in the thousands of %, and just for one person, that's quite difficult. So the biggest thing for me is to be able to keep up with the customer demand, to be able to stop turning away, big businesses and things, and be able to say, actually, we can fulfill this, as well as fulfilling the subscriptions and the one-off orders and things like that. So that is first and foremost before I think about sort of like expanding further.
Sure. So that's answered my question and a couple of other people's questions, but I did get some more, so let me just get them up, because I did mean to write them down, but I didn't, because I'm a useless human being. So we got, okay. This is just a funny one. Who's the best looking fat lad from Sunderland who orders the most brownies from you?
Oh, that's got to be Joe.
Yeah, it's got to be Joe. You better be listening to this.
The good thing is that I do try and remember a lot of customer names. Like obviously I print out all the orders, so I do remember the same sort of names and things like that. But Joe sticks out because he always used to write us some nice little notes in the note section, and he's also nut free. So that's a definite like remembrance. Don't be kidding.
I think Joe's a memorable human. If you know Joe, you know Joe. Absolutely. Okay, next one. Funniest complaint you've ever had?
Oh God, funniest complaint. Oh, let's have a look. I mean, like I've had a complaint before, which I thought it was a joke, but it wasn't. They were complaining that they were too good, and they had to keep buying them, and that I should have brought out a bigger box because they're too moreish. And I was sort of laughing and joking with it, and they were being deadly serious. They actually were quite pissed off because I couldn't bring out a bigger box. And I said, I said I'd look into it, but I said it's not viable to bring out a 20 box, you know, and get them ordered in, because the boxes we use are quite reinforced. They have to be ordered in from a separate company and printed and everything. But yeah, that was interesting. But if we ever get a complaint, most of the time it's not that funny. Most of the time it's to do with most of the time it's to do with is DPD. Touch wood, I've never had a complaint about the product. So
that's good then. I guess it must be frustrating when it's not you, and it's like.
Yeah, I think at the start it gets a bit frustrating, but it's at the end of the day it's business. You sort of factor that in, and it's one of these things that you just have to take on the chin. Like if DPD mess up, they mess up. You know, there's not a lot we can do. You know, we'll try and sort it out our end and send you another box if they've lost it or something. But we'll always try and make good, you know, with what's happened.
Absolutely. Okay, next one. Your personal favourite creation that you've done with Build and Bake?
Personal favourite? See, it's weird because I don't actually like this flavour combo, but I actually really like the banoffee one I'm doing.
Okay.
But if I had to choose a complete hands down winner, it will be the newest one I've done a couple of days ago, which will be drumstick flavour. Yeah, the lolly drumstick.
I don't know how I feel about that.
It's getting released in a limited box in about a week's time. So there's a little.
Yeah, that's interesting. Because I saw the drumsticks chocolate that's come out. Is it based on that? Is that what sort of inspired you? You got there first.
Well, I actually thought about this flavour a while ago, but just didn't know how to sort of factor it in. But yeah, I've sort of got it now, and it's less chocolatey, more drumsticky. That's the way to think about it. So it tastes like a drumstick.
Yeah, I'm really not sure how I feel. That's really interesting. Interesting. Okay, moving on. I guess this kind of ties on to that one, which is the weirdest flavour request you've ever had.
Oh, weirdest flavour request. We've had a flavour request for salted bacon, to have bacon bits put in the brownie. We had one for about a year ago for someone wanted sage and onion flavoured brownie, like a stuffing flavour. Apart from that, most of them aren't that weird. Or things that I find weird, or that what people find weird, I probably wouldn't find that weird. But we get a few strange combinations that I wouldn't usually put together, but anything goes really.
I was going to say, did you go forward with those? And
yeah, tried them out. The bacon one was absolutely disgusting and vile. And weirdly, very weirdly, the sage and onion flavoured one wasn't that bad at all.
Yeah, it's a weird one, and that's kind of leading on to the next question, actually, which is, how often do you eat them yourself?
I'm gonna have to answer this in 2 seconds. I need to shoot for 15 seconds.
Okay.
Yes and no. So I went for a stage where I was having loads all the time, and then I started like making loads more, and the novelty sort of wore off. But I probably have a box every 2 weeks, maybe. I'll go through stages. Sometimes I'll have 2 or 3 in a night. If I need like a bit of a sweet fix, I'm on a bit of a dieting phase at the minute, so I'm trying to watch what I eat so it's perfect. So occasionally at night, if I get a little bit peckish, I'll just chuck one in the microwave, bit of Halo top on, job's a good one. But yeah, I went for a stage where I was eating a hell of a lot of them. But I'm more of a protein person.
See, you're going to hate me, but I've not actually tried the proteins yet. I know, not a good fan. I'm not.
Probably because you can't get any hold of them because they're always out of stock because I can't keep up with them.
It was because they're not as macro friendly, and obviously when I really got into you guys was sort of early this year, and I started dieting in January. So
yeah, so they're designed more for just that sort of like post-workout, sort of more filling, not meal replacement, but you're looking at 230 or 250.
Yeah. More of a protein bar sort of thing rather than similar in terms of macros and stuff.
I mean, they have got a bit better protein, and obviously they also contain sweet potato. I use a sweet potato powder in there as well. So what I mean, they're less calories than a flapjack. They're about half the calories of a normal flapjack. So I know they're still quite high. You can have 2.5 brownies for that.
So it's a debate and a half. Is that There was another question and I just totally lost it. So you're going to have to bear with me 2 seconds, honestly.
That's fine.
You'd think I'd not done this before, which I have, but where's that question gone? Oh yeah, here we go. How many sweet potatoes do you get through a week?
Oh my God. A week. So probably around 125 kilos a week.
Okay, that's pretty hefty.
Which doesn't sound like a lot, but when
No,
you
it
put
does.
it into perspective of a weight of a sweet potato cooked, so that's cooked as well. So obviously the uncooked weight will be more, probably pushing 220 kilos. I mean, it's put into perspective. All the sweet potatoes now we source from Ireland, and they get flown into us, and they're already pureed down, so they're all ready to use. And I just did an order for 1,000 kilos, partly by accident, partly on purpose.
Wow.
Yeah. So and that will last probably about 100 days, maybe.
Wow. That's intense.
So a lot of sweet potatoes.
A lot of sweet. That's a lot of sweet potatoes. Next time you're in the gym and you're picking up a dumbbell, when you, I could say deadlifting, but I can't even deadlift that much. That's how much. That's a lot.
And I mean, for 2 years I've been peeling them by hand.
Oh my
as well.
God.
You can imagine that is. I was actually contemplating one year doing a challenge, an open challenge, to see who could do the quickest peeling of a sweet potato and post it on their social media, and the winner got a 6 months free subscription, just for a little bit of fun, really. But then I thought, I don't think anyone will be as quick as me.
No, so then no one wins the prize. I win myself. Yeah, that wouldn't go down amazing.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, that's all the questions I had and all the questions the people had. Is there anything you want to say before you go? Anything about where people can find you? Because if people don't follow you, rude, first of all, you definitely should. I don't hype about things, like I said at the start of the podcast, I don't hype about things for the sake of it, but genuinely getting introduced to these has changed my life. Like on an evening, I tend to go home most evenings if I can, because I don't quite have enough to last me through the month, but most evenings I'll have one, and it's just, they're amazing, absolutely amazing. When you tell people it's sweet potato, they'll be put off, but guys, don't be put off. If you're wanting something that's a bit more macro friendly, that is genuinely amazing in terms of taste, and the versatility of it is fantastic as well. That every month is something different. Like, you don't have to do the subscription, but it's there. I'm on it. Tempted to up it to 2, but let's not talk about that. But you get something new every month, and there's always a new product to try. There's always something new. It's always keeping exciting. So self-plug, where can people find you if they don't follow you or haven't visited your website or anything like that?
So we're obviously on Facebook, our main one being Instagram. We sort of engage a lot of people on there. I've actually got a guy who works specifically on Instagram. He'll answer questions, respond to customers and things like that. And you can follow us at Build and Bake Ltd. What I would say, if people are dubious about trying them or are interested and they want to know a bit more, they can message us on anything. So you can message us through the website, you can message us through Instagram or Facebook, and we do try and get back to you within a couple of hours. Like Manuel, the guy I use, he's really active on it, and we can pretty much answer any question. So if you're worried about a certain thing, or if you need it gluten free, or if you don't like a certain flavour, chat with us. We're quite chatty, we're quite helpful, and I'm sure we can come to some sort of agreement.
Absolutely, and that's one thing I will say about these guys as well, is their customer service is 12 out of 10 every time. They reply to your messages, they help you out, and I couldn't think of much better companies to back, to be honest, in terms of how much they help you out and the brilliance of the products. You've got it nailed. So thank you for your time, Matt, and to everyone listening, I will also, if you are interested in the products, I will leave sort of links in the show notes for you all. Please go check them out. Give them a go, guys. That's all I'm going to say. If you are skeptical, just give it a go, and I promise you won't be let down. And if you are let down, you can physically come to my house and tell me about it and throw stuff at me, because I promise you won't. But thank you for your time, Matt, today. It's been lovely having you on, and I look forward to the next one, guys.